Welcome to Beyond the Dust. In this documentary, we discuss the intricacies of wildlife conservation, focusing on the Onguma Nature Reserve, a unique sanctuary nestled alongside Namibia's famed Etosha National Park. Covering an expansive 34,000 hectares, with its western boundary melding seamlessly with Etosha, Onguma provides a captivating backdrop to explore the challenges and triumphs of nature management. Home to 4 of the Big Five and boasting a rich diversity of plains game and over 300 bird species, Onguma serves as a microcosm of the region's biodiversity. Our journey begins with a crucial aspect of conservation, understanding the resident wildlife population. Through meticulous game counts conducted by Reserve Manager Yona and his dedicated team, we gain invaluable insights into the distribution and abundance of key species within the reserve.
As you can see, the helicopter behind me is here for game count. We do annual game counts on Onguma, and we log everything on an app, EpiCollect, where we can see the location of the animal, what species and what the distance from the helicopter the animal was seen. So that will be valuable information for us to get a distribution map and to understand where the animals walk around and how many we have.
We're going to fly from north to south in an easterly-westerly direction with 500-meter transects. It might seem like a fun job, but there's a lot of stress involved because we need to find the animals, see them, and count them with locations and everything. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, but and obviously the numbers in the end will make up a lot of our decisions on, if we have too many of certain browsers or grazers and all of that. So a very valuable tool that we use.
As we conduct the game counts, we recognize their significance as a snapshot of our current wildlife population and distribution. While these counts offer invaluable initial data, they also serve as a springboard for ongoing research and monitoring efforts throughout our conservation journey. During aerial surveys, our focus intensifies on locating the elusive black rhinos. Understanding their home range is paramount to their protection and survival in the wild. This critical task falls under the purview of the Anti-poaching unit, tasked with safeguarding the entirety of Onguma's wildlife population. In the realm of wildlife conservation, the gravest threat facing our planet is habitat loss, hounded by the relentless onslaught of poaching. In response, reserves such as ours implement a variety of measures to safeguard their territories, including a sophisticated security method known as the Anti-poaching unit. Comprising highly trained personnel, this unit is tasked with the daunting responsibility of overseeing and protecting vast areas of land. At the forefront are the Delta teams stationed along the reserve's borders, tirelessly patrolling the electrified and sensor-laden perimeter fence. This initial line of defense is pivotal, as early detection is paramount in preventing attacks and preserving the integrity of the reserve's ecosystem.
Yeah, my teammates is just like a family. Yeah, we are just like now brothers. I like working together, like teamwork. Yeah, teamwork.
Venturing deeper into the heart of the reserve, we encounter the dedicated teams of rangers known as Tango. Strategically deployed throughout the property, these highly trained individuals undertake patrols along tactical routes, immersing themselves in the wilderness for days at a time to detect and deter criminal activity within the reserve's borders. Operating in areas often inaccessible to all but wildlife, these rangers serve as the vigilant guardians of the reserve.
Just living in the bush, it's quite good because now I've been there for long. Now I'm used. There's no pressure on me now. I like it. Because here, there's no human movement that disturb you that much. Only interested in animal movement, and that's nature movement. What you can hear, maybe it's a branch broken, a sound of a bird, sound of an animal. That's only you can hear. Natural. There's nothing like human-made noise or whatever.
In addition to the Delta and Tango teams, our surveillance extends to daily inspections of every waterhole. A critical strategy given that poachers often attempt to track rhinos from these vital sources. These inspections are carried out by our standby teams, equipped with vehicles to swiftly respond to any emergencies across the property. Ensuring the smooth operation of these efforts requires meticulous logistical planning, overseen by Herman. As the logistical coordinator, Herman is responsible for managing the supply chain, ensuring that the various anti-poaching units, APU sites, known as ECO, receive their weekly provisions without interruption.
So I have a bit of time just to come and inspect a bit of my ECO and my guys in the field, and also the guys who walk my fences. There's your food for the week. Azay, enjoy.
As night falls over the reserve, our dedicated teams transition into their evening routines. Some gather materials to construct their temporary camps, while others return to their observation posts where they will rotate shifts throughout the night.
So we sleep a bit far in the bush so that we will not give away our positions by poachers or animal endangered games. So now we are going to move to Echo where we spend our night. This is our campsite, we call it Echo, that's our comms code word. We just moved to here a day ago. We choose this area, it's nice, not low-key. We have shade. We really feel comfortable sleeping here.
How are you? All good, all good. What's in the pot?
Potatoes. Yeah, he likes jokes. Mostly he comes when we are preparing our food. He comes join us.
Copy that. Thank you. Have a safe night. See you out. All right, guys. Sharp.
Herman's duties call him back onto the road. His mission? To visit each team dispersed across the reserve before darkness descends. This crucial task ensures that all teams are accounted for and equipped for the night ahead.
We find fresh tracks of pangolin. We're trying to track it, but it went far. Have a good night.
However, comes a time each month when the rhythm of life in the reserve shifts and a heightened sense of vigilance takes hold. This is the week of the full moon.
To me, it's full moon is problem because this is a big target of poachers. They normally come full moon. They target it. They are also smart. They always target the full moon, so they easily enter the reserve.
Traditional tracking methods may be limited at night. Modern technology offers a solution to mitigate risks for our dedicated rangers.
Full moon is that poachers are active at night, and we don't really have measures to fight them at night, except for modern technology like this thermal drone, which helps us a great lot to be able to chase poachers after dark, because normally when sun sets, you can't read tracks. So the next best thing is a drone, which can see at night. And once I locate the poacher with a drone, I am able to log that coordinate and then send that to the anti-poaching unit. And they can just zone in on the poacher and get him. But also it's great to do some monitoring on animals. It's just another measure of defense against poaching that the poacher needs to keep in mind. You know, we have a drone, but when are we flying? Nobody knows.
Despite the implementation of our comprehensive security system and the considerable risks associated with poaching, it remains imperative to reduce the incentive for anyone attempting to harm a rhino. Regrettably, this brings us to our next critical topic, rhino dehorning.
Hello everyone, we're going to do a dehorning operation on Onguma in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, and we're going to dehorn all our rhino on Onguma. We use dehorning as a tool in our toolbox of anti-poaching. As you can see, the chopper arrived behind me, so let's get on with the job.
Every few years in Namibia, a discrete operation takes place, the dehorning of black rhinos. This procedure, shrouded in secrecy due to the rhino's status as state property, requires specialized authorization under the custodianship program. Under this program, the government selects areas where rhinos reside and funds the operation, while each reserve covers additional expenses primarily dedicated to rhino protection. Today, under the watchful eye of the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, the operation unfolds with precision. The ground team, led by the Onguma APU and supported by the Namibian Defence Force, follows the ministry's vehicle in a convoy. Meanwhile, in the air, Yona coordinates via radio, guiding the pilot and veterinarian to areas with a high probability of encountering black rhinos across the expansive property. Once a rhino is spotted, the ground team moves into position. The veterinarian aims to dot the animal swiftly to minimize stress. Within minutes, the sedative takes effect, allowing the team to approach the rhino safely. The pilot maneuvers the aircraft to facilitate rapid access for the ground team, ensuring the subsequent steps are executed swiftly and efficiently to minimize any distress to the animal.
Kind of a game between the ground team and the air team, that if the rhino goes to sleep in the road, it's a bottle of whiskey for the air team. So that's always fun. Try and get the animal as close to the road, but it maybe sounds fun, but it's very, very crucial. So the ground team can reach it quickly.
As the operation progresses, each team member executes their role with precision, adhering to the standard operating procedures established for rhino dehorning. The immediate area is cleared of distracting branches, and the rhino's ears and eyes are covered to minimize stimulation. The veterinarian meticulously collects blood, hair, and skin samples for DNA registration, while also applying individual marks, known as notches, to each ear for future identification purposes. Meanwhile, another team focuses on measuring various anatomical details before carefully removing the rhino's horn. The horn is then sealed in a registered bag and transported under the police escort to the ministry's main depot. Additional steps, which cannot be shown, are undertaken before the team swiftly returns to the vehicles, aiming to vacate the area within 15 minutes. As the vet administers the reversal injection to expedite the rhino's recovery, the air unit springs into action, ensuring they are airborne before the rhino regains consciousness. Once airborne, a quick aerial check confirms the rhino's recovery before the team proceeds to the next target.
For the poacher, it is about risk and reward. By adding anti-poaching and a fence tracker team and drones and cameras and all that, that increases the risk of being caught. And in the same breath, you can say you take away the reward, and that is the rhino horn. So if they shoot a rhino that's dehorned, they're going to have less income. So I believe that it's a very valuable tool that we use, and it works. It shows that it works. We haven't had that poachers came to shot a dehorned rhino.
Throughout the day, the dehorning operation maintains a steady pace, typically averaging around 2 rhinos per hour. However, as the days progress and the more individuals are dehorned, the task becomes increasingly challenging. With fewer viable candidates remaining, ground units often find themselves with more downtime, providing an opportunity to rest and seek shade under the trees.
If you ask me, I would like to get Onguma to a point where we don't need to dehorn, that our anti-poaching efforts are strong enough and we feel comfortable enough that we can protect the horn or the rhinos even with their horns on. Because I mean, nothing and nobody needs a rhino horn but a rhino. So it would be nice to be able to show guests rhinos with horns on.
Managing a private reserve requires the careful consideration of environmental factors such as the analysis of recent game count data. With a clearer understanding of our game numbers and the measures in place for their protection, it's time to turn our attention to a more comprehensive study that serves as the cornerstone for many of our reserves management decisions.
Today I'll give you some insight about our work on Onguma to contribute towards global conservation efforts. Conservation is extremely challenging because we are charged with the protection of a system that is so complex that we don't even understand it. It's far older than anything that is man-made, and we will surely never understand it completely. We may well have a good indication of some of the drivers that operate within the property, such as vegetation dynamics, herbivores in space. And that's what we can collect data on, and that we can use to generate management decisions. But for instance, the soil biota or any micro-organic activities that happen behind me, we have no idea of it and we cannot really manage it either.
Here at Onguma, our approach to conservation begins with a deep understanding of our vegetation, recognizing it as the primary driver for ecosystem recovery. Given the vast expanse of the reserve, we divide it into 58 plots to facilitate thorough analysis. By examining a multitude of variables within these plots, we enhance the precision of our management strategies and outcomes. Let's delve into a few examples of the 14 factors we scrutinize. Vegetation cover. We assess the species composition of grasses, bushes, and trees present in each plot. Encroachment. We evaluate the diversity and density of vegetation within an area. Soil type. We categorize the soil composition, distinguishing between rocky, sandy, or saline soils. Leveraging satellite imagery, we generate a detailed vegetation map of the reserve, achieving a remarkable accuracy of 4 square meters. While this process is time-consuming and requires annual updates, it provides invaluable insights into the distribution of plant species and their ecological dynamics. Our understanding of vegetation dynamics is complemented by aerial game counts and birding patrols, offering a holistic perspective on both vegetation health and wildlife populations. In our ongoing quest for a comprehensive understanding of the ecosystem dynamics within Onguma, the movement patterns of our animal populations emerge as a focal point. Herbivore migrations in particular hold immense significance given their pivotal role in regulating grazing pressure and ecosystem balance. While bushland habitats remain relatively resilient, grasslands, once prevalent, have succumbed to widespread conversion for agricultural purposes. Recognizing the critical importance of water sources in shaping animal movement, especially during the dry season, we have equipped each of our 22 waterholes with surveillance cameras. Harnessing the power of artificial intelligence, these cameras analyze captured images, generating heat maps that delineate species distribution and activity zones around these vital watering points. Over time, as years of data accumulate, these heat maps provide invaluable insights into the utilization patterns of these areas by different species. It's important to note that all game numbers are relative to the total population, allowing us to contextualize our findings within the broader ecological context of the reserve.
By constantly accumulating the data, storing it, analyzing it, and visualizing it, it enables our reserve manager to revisit any point in time of the data that has been collected in the previous years.
In the final stage of our conservation efforts, we integrate our vegetation study, which examines biomass distribution with our wildlife spatial analysis. By overlaying these datasets, we can determine whether each plot in the reserve possesses the appropriate carrying capacity for its respective species. This crucial analysis enables us to identify areas where overgrazing may be occurring and where habitat recovery is needed. In some cases, this may necessitate the relocation of certain species to different parts of the reserve, allowing ecosystems time to regenerate naturally. Furthermore, this integrated approach provides insights into the overall carrying capacity of the entire reserve, indicating whether adjustments are needed to ensure ecological balance across the landscape. This brings us to our next topic, game capture. Our comprehensive studies have revealed an imbalance in the population dynamics of zebras and giraffes within the reserve. To address this issue, we have devised a plan to relocate excess individuals to other reserves in need of population enhancements. This initiative is particularly crucial given the disruption of traditional migration routes by human infrastructure, such as fences. Our goal is to relocate 50 zebras and 20 giraffes to the western side of Etosha National Park. While 20 giraffes may seem insignificant in comparison to the 400 residing on Onguma, every individual contributes to the preservation of genetic diversity and the restocking of other wildlife reserves. The relocation operation is meticulously planned and executed over several days, involving a specialized team of 20 individuals.
Because it's very dangerous capturing animals that's never been caught before. Yeah, they can get very grumpy.
As the sun rises on the first day of the relocation operation, the specialized capturing boma is assembled with precision. Standing 6 meters tall and stretching 200 meters from the bush, it forms a funnel-shaped corridor leading towards the trucks. Careful consideration has been given to its location, strategically placed to minimize the helicopter's travel distance in locating the targeted animals. Jan, our experienced pilot, takes to the sky in a lightweight helicopter, scanning the landscape for the first group of zebras. Unlike previous events that required larger helicopters, this operation calls for a nimble aircraft capable of quick maneuvering to guide the animals into the boma. As the zebras approach the entrance of the boma, concealed curtains close behind them, preventing retreat and ensuring forward movement towards the loading ramp. However, the true test of skill and adrenaline comes at the loading ramp, where the wild animals must be coaxed into the trucks. Selecting and grouping the right individuals is crucial to preventing injuries, as the natural rivalry between different groups can lead to conflict in confined spaces.
Well, it's been rather quick. Struggled to get them from the veld, but it went well. No injuries, so always happy about that.
As the 2 trucks carrying a total of 48 zebras depart for their new location, anticipation mounts for the successful completion of their journey. Capturing and transporting giraffes poses a unique set of challenges. While specialized trailers have been prepared for their relocation, the sheer size of fully grown adults means that careful selection is required before loading. This process is not without its risks, as difficulties may arise during the loading procedure. Given the complexity and inherent dangers involved, only a highly experienced team is entrusted with this task.
Well, the difficulty is that we caught a group, but there's 2 of them that's a little bit too big. So we need to filter the young ones from the older ones and get the old ones out and the younger ones in. But there's no going in there and, manhandle them. So, yeah, but trouble now.
As the capture operation commences for the giraffes, the risks inherent become evident. Despite the protective barriers in place, handlers must remain vigilant as giraffes are capable of delivering powerful kicks in an instant. With each subsequent group that enters the boma, the process becomes smoother and more manageable. Recognizing the importance of minimizing stress and time spent in captivity, a decision is swiftly made to transport them to their new wildlife haven without delay. In the realm of nature management, the larger events such as the game count and capture occur annually, serving as a vital milestone in assessing and managing wildlife populations. However, continuous monitoring throughout the seasons remain equally crucial for a multitude of reasons. Let's delve into some of the intriguing methods implemented for this purpose. One of the primary tools in monitoring wildlife at Onguma is the extensive network of trap cameras strategically positioned at each waterhole. Unlike animals fitted with collars for tracking, these cameras provide us with a wealth of data on wildlife activity and behavior without disturbing the natural rhythms of the ecosystem.
Today is Trap Camera Day and I'm busy exchanging all the SD cards in our cameras. On Onguma, we have 22 waterholes, of which I cover 16 with these motion cameras. At each waterhole, there's at least 3 cameras placed in these security boxes on strategic positions. Between all the cameras, I get up to 80,000 pictures of wildlife weekly, which I go through with my eye. I'm very angry at the elephants because they throw mud on my cameras and then I miss all the pictures that I'm after. The main goal of gathering this data is to monitor our black rhino population, and we're looking into numbers, pregnancies, calves and their general condition. But it also gives us great insight in our other game. Monitoring like this plays a major role in our conservation efforts. And, like this camera did, pick up on undetected poacher activity.
At the forefront of our monitoring efforts is Yona, who utilizes advanced artificial intelligence to sort through the vast array of images captured by our trap cameras. With meticulous attention to detail, Yona catalogs sightings of rhinos, tracking their movements and assessing their condition. Through weekly updates spanning the entire reserve, management remains informed and prepared to respond promptly to any injuries or changes detected in the rhino population. Our guides play a crucial role in our monitoring projects, traversing up to 20% of the reserve during their daily game drives. Their keen observation often lead to encounters with black rhinos, particularly during sundowners. These sightings are promptly reported, providing valuable insights into rhino behavior and distribution.
It is very important for us to communicate this information, this vital information, to our reserve manager, because they are critically endangered animals. Every information about their healthness, the state of condition in which they are, where we have seen them, days that might have passed without them being seen. This is all very important information because it is just part of a long time data that is being collected.
While Yona's primary monitoring activities often take place traveling the reserve's roads and designated work areas, there are certain times of the month that require his presence elsewhere. Yona finds both joy and necessity in spending the night outdoors, choosing to set up camp at one of the reserve's waterholes. Surrounded by the sights and sounds of the wilderness, Yona gains a first-hand perspective on the reserve's happenings.
So it's full moon again, and every full moon or before full moon I sit in my hides to monitor the rhinos and all other game. And for tonight I chose this hide. It's my favorite, the ones that I've built, the platforms in the trees. The elevated hides, they are disguised much better than any other hide. They are a little bit more risky for a leopard to get into. I'm not that safe up there, or if an elephant decides this branch needs to come down. But I enjoy it so much every time I do it. A benefit for me sitting very uncomfortably and monitoring the black rhinos. If you were wondering why I'm standing with this and I'm doing monitoring, monitoring is nothing to do with a weapon, but it's there for a reason, and I might encounter some poachers or hear a gunshot or whatever, and then I'm ready to act without wasting any time.
As with other critical points across the reserve, each of the waterhole serves as a strategic focal point for monitoring activities, particularly during full moon nights. These celestial events offer a unique opportunity to observe wildlife behavior, providing invaluable feedback into their movements and interactions within the ecosystem. In addition to monitoring the resident population within the reserve, it is equally important to track the migration patterns of the animals moving between different regions bordering the reserve. These migrations play a crucial role in maintaining genetic diversity and ecosystem resilience, highlighting the interconnectedness of habitats across the landscape.
Part of the monitoring is the cameras on the fence line between us and Etosha to see how many animals comes in and out, hyenas, cheetahs, leopards, lions and all that. It's just to monitor the holes in the fence to see what is the travel.
In our arsenal of conservation tools, we deploy live cameras to offer real-time updates on the activity along our reserve's fence line. These sophisticated surveillance systems provide invaluable insights into wildlife behavior, human encroachment, and potential threats to the integrity of our boundaries.
So this is the third line of monitoring that we use on Onguma. These cameras are live cameras, so every photo they take, they send it to our phones with a link, and then we can visit the photo and see who was triggered. Like you can see here, here's where 4 of our fences meet, so that when anybody enters, the camera will pick up the movement and then take a photo, and 55 seconds later it will send me the SMS. What I might add is that these cameras are not just for security, but they can also give us information on animals, because we have constantly a leopard coming here from Etosha. So what happens is these cameras are programmed with the AI. It sends the picture to the servers, and I'm able to watch in my office on the computer images of animals walking past.
While the insights gleaned from our vulture monitoring initiatives are undeniably fascinating, they often shed light on concerning developments that we would prefer to avoid. To delve deeper into this program and its significance, we turn to Ruben, who possesses invaluable expertise in this field.
Well, vultures are very important animals in the ecosystem. If you want to study what dies and why it dies and where it dies, the key is to really look at the vultures. Okay, using the vultures as sentinels in the ecosystem, we can get information when the zebras died because of anthrax, when the elephants died because of anthrax, when the giraffes die because of tannin poisoning, and many other species. So by using vultures, we can have a really good overview of what's happening in the ecosystem. And our vultures, dark vultures, can fly up to 200 kilometers in a day. So if you have to spend so much amount of driving and patrolling around to really find dead carcasses, it would be very expensive. But we have like a free sentinel there, where we can put a 40-gram tag, and it can really provide us very valuable information on the ecosystem.
Finally, we come to the cornerstone of our conservation efforts, the comprehensive monitoring system that oversees the entire reserve's ecosystem. This intricate network involves all teams of wildlife protection rangers who diligently patrol the reserve, documenting the encounters with snares, injured animals, or any signs of poaching activity. Using a specialized app called Earth Ranger, these observations are logged in real time and reported directly to the reserve and security management. This system serves as our eyes and ears on the ground, allowing us to swiftly respond to threats and ensure the safety of our wildlife. We have also implemented an initiative that provides continuous, rigorous training for both new recruits and seasoned veterans, ensuring that all units are skilled and capable of combating this ongoing threat. The training regime spans a comprehensive 5-year period during which a carefully selected group of individuals undergoes intensive instructions and particular exercises.
All right, guys, today we're going to have some nice training with the new recruits. Some of them never shot a rifle before. So yeah, we are very excited, so let's go shooting.
Participants in our training program undergo an intensive regimen that encompasses a blend of physical conditioning, theoretical instruction, and hands-on field experience. With a primary emphasis on developing crucial skills, the program aims to equip individuals with proficiency in tracking, coordination, radio communication, and combat techniques. They delve into theoretical concepts to deepen their understanding of wildlife behavior, conservation principles, and anti-poaching strategies.
Like for the first day, for me in the patrol was very funny because I was very scared of those animals because it's for the first time. Yeah, I was scared of the lions, and now there's no problem anymore. Lion is very simple, just charge you. Lion, there's no problem with the lion because he can charge you, it wants you. Yeah, lion is easier than the rhino. The rhino can't warn you. Yeah.
You don't need to be fast because speed is not that much important. Because once you are walking very fast, you can lose the track. But if you are walking slowly, you can see that you have to be concentrated on that. You don't need to walk that much fast in the bush.
We find Yona back in the field where he demonstrates the art of laying tracks to be followed by the trainees. This exercise not only sharpens their tracking abilities, but also underscores the significance of attention to detail and stealth in their work.
If you track a poacher, keeping up with the poachers is, I would say, is the biggest challenge. So tactics and strategies and times when they enter and how they find a rhino. Mostly it's just entering, hoping they walk into one, shoot it and get out. If they don't find one, they go to a waterhole and then track the fresh tracks and until they find it and then they kill it.
The most recent attempt to poach one of Onguma's rhinos occurred in 2022, serving as a stark reminder of the persistent threat posed by poachers. Despite the tireless efforts of our dedicated wildlife protection teams, this incident underscores the ongoing challenges faced in combating poaching activities and highlights the need for continued vigilance and enhanced security measures to safeguard the rhino population.
We were just in a normal patrol. We were given the task to go and patrol just in the field. Then in the way, discover the tracks for the poachers. Then we tracked them until where we found them. Yeah, and one guy shot to us. Then we shoot back to him. I felt very scared.
Evidence of that day. Even though the police have done their investigation, one empty shotgun shell stayed behind.
Following his arrest, he received medical treatment at a nearby hospital and eventually recuperated from his injuries. Beneath the picturesque facade often associated with safari experiences lies a harsh reality, the relentless struggle to safeguard vulnerable wildlife from illegal activities such as poaching. The truth is that many species face grave threats to their existence due to human exploitation. Fortunately, due to the tireless efforts of our dedicated teams and the successful apprehension of numerous criminals in the past, attempts by poachers to target our property have declined. Onguma has long served as a sanctuary for thriving black rhino population, a testament to our unwavering commitment to conservation and protection efforts. Now, with great pride and anticipation, we prepare for our final significant event, the introduction and repopulation of the white rhino on Onguma. Our journey takes us to Ongava, a private nature reserve located along the southern border of Etosha National Park. Renowned for its robust population of white rhinos, Ongava serves as the crucial hub for the conservation of this endangered species. Unlike black rhinos, white rhinos in Namibia can be privately owned, yet stringent measures are in place to ensure their protection and welfare. Under the stewardship of Onguma's reserve management, a carefully selected pair of white rhinos has been chosen for relocation. Once fully immobilized, the rhinos undergo standard procedures, including the collection of necessary samples for genetic analysis and health assessments. To minimize stress and facilitate their journey, the rhinos are not fully awakened, but instead carefully guided into specialized transport containers. With precision timing, both rhinos are prepared for transport simultaneously.
Today we are at Onguma Nature Reserve and we just loaded 2 white rhino bulls that we got from them. It's 2 males and they were always buddies, always walking together, so we didn't want to split them up and we decided to take both of them. For the survival of the species, I think it's essential to move rhinos to areas, secure areas where the population just can breed and breed and breed and become more and more animals, because there they are safe as the APU can make them. Always challenges of poachers coming to try and get them, but we're getting stronger in our units and yeah, we're going to try and start a new population of white rhino on Onguma.
The process of relocating animals is a daunting endeavor, particularly for the individuals themselves. Upon being carefully loaded into transport containers, the journey commences immediately, embarking on a 4-hour drive through the vast expanse of the park. With a special permit allowing for a swift pace, the transport team navigates the terrain with precision, mindful of the vital need for air circulation within the containers amidst the high temperatures outside. As the sun begins its descent, the convoy reaches its destination on the eastern side of our reserve, arriving at a peaceful waterhole known as Rhino Bath. The waterhole offers a perfect environment for the rhinos to replenish themselves with ample food and water. With utmost care, the team gently releases the rhinos from their confines, marking the culmination of months of anticipation and preparation. Over the next few weeks, they will explore the vast expanse of the new surroundings, gradually establishing their home range.
Welcome guys, welcome to Onguma. Being kind of in charge of their safety and their survival, because it's a new area. They've been traveling for a long time. We drove them all the way through Etosha for the whole day. They were partly sedated, so there's so many things that can go wrong. Like a new area, it's different water they drink, their stomach might be upset, they don't find food that they used to, so maybe they get constipated, and yeah, there's so many other things that I had to monitor, but yeah, it was fun, although it was stressful.
Vaguely aware of Yona's system by which you name your rhinos, what have you decided to call the newest members to the Onguma family?
I have 2 brothers and they are my support pillars in a way, and so yeah, I named them after my 2 brothers, Hendrik and Cornelis. They are much more easy with guests. Black rhino is very angry and in the bush and the browser. He's in the thickets and doesn't want to be seen actually. Where the white rhino is a grazer, he's out in the open and you get to spot them easier.
Game drives conducted for only a limited duration each day strictly adhere to the principle of no off-road driving. While the presence of endangered species like the white rhinos enhances the tourism experience, the choice of habitat remains entirely at the discretion of the animals themselves. In this delicate balance between human visitors and resident wildlife, Onguma exemplifies a commitment to ethical and sustainable ecotourism practices. In today's conservation landscape, the primary support for protected areas often stems from visitors, particularly through the avenue of ecotourism. While we've delved into the unseen efforts behind the scenes of wildlife reserves, let's now explore the more tangible aspects visible to guests. Ecotourism necessitates the establishment of additional infrastructure to enhance the guest experience. This entails various sub-departments dedicated to tasks such as grading roads, maintaining waterholes, establishing emergency stockpiles for droughts, and upkeeping fences, among other responsibilities. These efforts are crucial for ensuring that visitors can fully immerse themselves in the natural beauty of the reserve while contributing to its conservation goals.
At the moment, I'm busy playing welder and I'm welding on these offsets on the Etosha fence, and the reason we do that is to be able to control the elephant numbers coming in from the park, because at the moment we have too many elephants. Rainy season they will leave again, but after rainy season, when it dries up a little bit, they will enter again. And we cannot handle the amount of elephants that wants to be here. So we need to put up measures to be able to control the elephant numbers on Onguma.
While we cherish the opportunity to witness herds of elephants in the natural habitat, our research indicates the need to carefully assess the impact on available biomass. Additionally, managing the aftermath of their presence, such as clearing debris left behind, presents both challenges and opportunities for conservation efforts.
Another job with the reserve management is removing trees that the elephants throws in the tourist roads. Number one. And behind me, you can see the guys who causes so much more work for a reserve manager. Number two, reported by our guides. Hello, old boy. Will you please tell the younger guys to stop destroying everything? Tell them I want to work with them. Number three. At least eat the tree when you push it over. And when you push it over, not in the road, please. Now I'm getting pissed. Number 5. Yeah, sometimes it get very, very difficult to, in a way, find the motivation to keep going. But I think the main reason I keep doing it is I'm just too passionate about. Every time I have a down day or a tough day, then I go through my Rhino pictures and I forget about all the stress and all of that. I think it's if you're passionate about something, not really anything can stop you from doing it.
At the heart of ecotourism lies the vital link between reserve management and guests, facilitated by knowledgeable guides. Our guides serve as ambassadors of conservation, providing guests with authentic insights into the reserve's ecological significance. They actively engage in conservation initiatives themselves and are uniquely positioned to convey guests' requests or preferences to reserve management.
Here.
The sun spot is.
Yes.
Perfect. What do we call it?
Chemical spot. Yeah, chemical and yes. Because this one we are calling it Muramba. So if there is the proposal one day that we can go and set up a table like that.
Both the ABU, me as a guide, actually, we all of us are playing a significant role by protecting this wildlife that we have and preserving. With that, I'm the person sending the message to the guest, communicating through, because they can't communicate directly with the ABU. So I'm the one that informs them and also explain them why the ABU is there and what role they are playing.
When you go out with me on our nature reserve, you learn everything about our reserve, conservation of Namibia, how it is actually practiced here at Onguma, wildlife such as lions. We think of how we actually furthermore protect our black rhino, how we introduce our white rhino. There is just a little bit that I just told you, but there is many more stories you can learn about.
Over the past 2 decades, ecotourism has emerged as a successful model for integrating environmental conservation with Namibia's economy. Through sustainable practices and responsible tourism initiatives, this approach has demonstrated its effectiveness in promoting both the preservation of the natural environment and the growth of the nation's economy.
In Southern Africa, we say, if it pays, it stays. And that translates the concept very well. And that is one big misconception that many conservationists from the global north share, that we can conserve without using. And that has led to situations that become a little bit difficult for conservationists in the global south. The spatial scale at which conservation needs to happen encompasses areas that have the size of European countries. For instance, Etosha National Park behind me has the size of 2 million hectares. That's half the size of Switzerland. And that's problematic because most of the global conservation bodies or institutions that do most of the decision making on a global scale when it comes to conservation are home in the global north. The scale at which conservation happens is smaller and the areas are economically stronger, so there's not such an immediate need for income. Here in Southern Africa, it's crucial for the coexistence of conservation and livelihoods to generate money from conservation.
In response to this opportunity, Onguma Nature Reserve has implemented a sustainable conservation initiative known as the Conservation Levy. Under this system, a percentage of each guest spending is allocated towards various programs dedicated to preserving our place on this planet.
Whenever you are with me or any other fellow colleagues of mine on our nature reserves activities, part of what you have invested to be with us here on our reserve is going towards the APU. Remember, APU stands for Anti-poaching Unit. This is a very crucial team. Importantly, your stay here is just not about beautiful meals and beautiful accommodation, but you are making a difference while being on holiday.
The importance of this work is to keep the nature, because there's a generation coming from behind, those younger generation. If we leave the wildlife to be poached and everything like that, those younger generation will find nothing. Everything maybe is going to be extinct, especially rhinos and lions and those things. There will be like only pictures.
In our exploration of nature reserve management, we've provided a glimpse into the dedicated individuals working tirelessly towards a larger conservation goal. Despite the inherent complexity of this topic, our aim is to shed light on the often overlooked world of hands-on conservationists.
Conservation as a whole is a very big term and very broad, I want to say, occupation, if you will. But it all boils down to a few men and women that put their lives at risk to be able to show the rest of the world a piece of Africa and certain species that's endangered. So, you know, we are able to showcase the rest of the world what we do. Not everybody understands the hard work that goes into everything and that little bit of, or little things that you might not think of. And yeah, it can be funded, you know, funds is one thing, but you know, without people whose hearts are in it, those funds means nothing.
We decided to come here to protect the rhinos. We had like people are poaching rhinos Now we decided to go and defend our rhinos, because if we didn't, the next generation will never know. It will be just a history.